After years of speculation, after years of waiting, um, Nintendo finally revealed uh, the next Switch. Uh, the reveal trailer's here. I'm gonna watch it for the first time, and let's see what they decided to use to show it off. You know, are we gonna get rooftop parties like the first one? Uh, or is this gonna be, you know, a different kind of reveal? Will we see any games? Who knows? Let's check it out. Okay, there's the regular Switch. Bigger. Oh, a top USB-C. An actual great stand. Oh, look. Could that be like a drawing tablet? That angle is so drawing tab. Okay. Bigger Joy-Cons. Definitely looks like it's not gonna slide. Like we've heard, I guess, at this point. Ooh, boop, boop, boop. Okay, so if you've seen any of the leaks, then you know what that's about. They're drifting. Get it, Joy-Con drift? And the magnets. Okay, another thing. They're magnets. It magnetizes on. There it is. Dude, I love that. I love that kickstand. And top USB-C. Mario Kart 9! Yo, that's Mario Kart 9. Wait a second. A lot. Oh, dude, there's so many racers. There's so many racers. Hold on a second. Wait. Wait a second. Okay, Nintendo Switch 2 plays both physical and digital Nintendo Switch games. Certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible with Nintendo Switch 2. Details will be shared on the Nintendo website at a later date. Okay, so it plays Switch games, of course, backwards compatible. Obviously, the Switch is not going to play Switch 2 games. What are the games, though? Certain games. I wonder if that has something to do with the inside of the Joy-Cons. We'll look at it here in a second. Okay, so the Direct is going to be in April. 2 weeks before my birthday. Okay, so there, what I'm seeing there at the end. Okay, official website. Let me pull that up real quick. Okay, so you have to register for a chance to attend any of these things. Actually starts. Okay, actually starts right away. It's gonna be in New York at first, then in Los Angeles, then in Dallas. I wonder if they'll do international ones though. This is a free. Okay, so you need a Nintendo account to required to enter. Raffle kind of system. Okay. I'm gonna go back and look at this real quick because if you've been following along with the Nintendo themselves not revealing anything about the Switch, that is there's a reason that a lot of people have been getting antsy, especially lately, and that is because there have been a lot of leakers. So we were learning a lot of things about the Switch before we got an actual official reveal. Which obviously a lot of people, they don't like that. They like the official reveal to be the original one. Still going to be excited regardless, but I think I can give a little insight on a couple different things here, just like many people will tell you if you haven't heard already. So as you can see here at the top, we get a top USB-C, which is actually really great because sometimes plugging it in while it's in handheld mode, stuff kind of gets in the way, and also then you would need a special stand. If you can plug it in like this, then you can use the actual stand, which looks way better. And there's something also in particular about this stand that I'm noticing here, and anybody that uses a drawing tablet probably can tell you too, that this angle in particular that they use here for this is very deep, super deep angle on this. Almost feels like it would be a little bit weird to play games at this angle. Which kind of makes me think like, will there be some kind of support? Like, will we have like games where you can draw stuff, right? Now, obviously, there's no stylus with this kind of thing. It doesn't mean that that's not something that can happen in the future, right? Especially, with things like the DS and 3DS. Would they ever do something like that? But there's another reason why this is kind of interesting too. If you think about like kind of like a drawing tablet angle. Then we come to the actual Joy-Cons themselves. Which they're bigger. That's great. A lot of people have complained, they're just size-wise, they're not comfortable for me. And then obviously you guys saw that they snap together because it's magnetic. That's another thing that we kind of knew ahead of time. The question is, are they going to do anything to fix the potential for drift, which is a problem that we've had with the Joy-Cons in the past? I got a pair one time that within a week they did that. And one way that they deal with that is they actually do use magnets. So the question is, will they put magnets? Will they use magnets to try and fix or prevent any kind of drift with the Joy-Cons this time around? Okay, so this is another thing that I don't know. If you don't know about if you haven't heard anything about any of the potential leaks or specs, when Nintendo puts out a new console, you always are kind of looking for what is the innovation, right? Because when it comes to consoles, they're the ones who seem to try to innovate with how you can change gaming and how people game and how you control a game, almost more so than anybody else. It's not that other console makers don't do it, it's just that Nintendo kind of goes a little wacky and crazy with it most of the time when they do it. So this just looks like a bigger, upgraded Switch. What exactly could be different about it? Potentially, we're pretty sure at this point that one of the things is that these Joy-Cons work like a mouse, right? The sensor that you see on the inside, see if I can get the right angle. maybe they'll show it to me. Maybe, if I can get it. Okay. Might just have to go back a little bit further. It's basically the sensor on the side. On the inside of the Joy-Con. Let's try half speed. I guess you can see it whenever they pop up originally. It's right here. Obviously there was an IR camera on the original Joy-Cons, which one of my theories with this is that maybe that's not in it, and that's why potentially some games wouldn't work. But instead, what we have here, there's a very good look at it right there. Is essentially like what you have on the bottom of your mouse, right? So then this right here is not a joke about Joy-Con drifts, like because they're drifting. This is not them racing because, oh, we're gonna show Mario Kart. No, this is when you put on the accessory, they essentially turn into a mouse. A different way to possibly control your games. Interesting, right? Because, and so then it just slides along. Like, I'm assuming that they'll want you to put they'll want you to put the little strap on there. It is kind of funny because I think about like the little loop is kind of like a tail. It looks kind of like an actual mouse. But then you have the trigger on top there that actually could work like you're clicking a mouse. The more and more that like you think about it. It's just kind of interesting to think like, what is something they did with the Wii? Well, you could point at the screen, right? And then of course you were able to use that in like a lot of different kinds of games to aim. You can even aim with the Joy-Cons because of the gyro control or the Pro controller in something like Splatoon. So what is a different control style that they could do with the Joy-Cons? Well, obviously make it work like a mouse. That's essentially what's going on here. Now, see, they don't explain it, right? And obviously, this is something that would be shown off whenever they do their direct. But I feel like if you didn't know about this leak, then this doesn't really make as much sense to you. You don't really know what's going on here. You're like, what are they doing? But that's my bet, and that's just based on what I've heard. So very cool. You know, I almost thought they would have shown it off just because it seems like a controller thing. My other thing is like, you know, when were they planning to reveal this versus when they really usually Nintendo just reveals stuff when they want to. So it does seem like it is a pretty large gap between when they're revealing this and then when the direct is. I don't know. Kind of crazy. But as far as how you could use this, well, imagine having mouse controls in a game, right? Where whichever one you use as a mouse, I mean, I guess technically you still have your joystick on it. The other one you could use like a controller. It does bring up like the question like, hey, are we getting a browser on this system? We skipped the browser on the Switch. Are we finally going to get a home browser on the system? Seems like it would be a good way to take advantage of this. Are there going to be games that utilize this kind of controls? Is it going to be a retroactive thing where original Switch games will be updated to allow for this control on here. That'd be another way to sell the system to people that have a large library of games already. I think to myself, most people immediately think Splatoon, right? With a mouse, right? Because many first-person shooters or third-person shooters, mouse controls, people that play them on PCs, they never want to go back sometimes to playing games on their console because most consoles aren't going to let people use mouse controls. You know what I think of a lot though? I think of something as simple as Animal Crossing and organizing inventory, and how much I liked it on the 3DS that you could just like tap around with the stylus to do all your inventory stuff. I don't know, it seems like a quick way to do inventory stuff in games. Obviously everybody thinks of like essentially using the mouse in the way that people do on PC, or you know, if you think back to the Switch or the Wii, they had gyro controls. So it is essentially just a different way to do that, different way to aim. I'm very curious about this. Obviously there is your gimmick or your different control style, which they always try to push. That is one thing that they always try to push the envelope with on a lot of their systems, is we're going to try and teach you a new way to play games, or we think this would be a new innovative way to do it. So if this part didn't make sense to you, you're like, what are these things? That's my theory, and that is completely based on information that lines up with everything else that has been shown so far. And then obviously you have your click. Oh, that sounds awful with the slow down thing. But I will say that I think it's pretty cool that they're still like, because many people are gonna watch this and they're gonna be like, wait, that's just the Switch, bigger, and that's just the Switch, you know, bigger Joy-Cons, magnetic Joy-Cons, bigger screen. Well, the Switch is very successful. Makes sense why they would follow it up with a sequel. That's what a lot of people want. They just want a Switch that runs games better. They just want a Switch that the games look better on, or they run better on, or both. They want to be able to play all of their old library. Hopefully, rumors seem to indicate that Switch games will run better, be somewhat patched on a new Switch, and that certainly would be a good way to like transition, right? You know, we've all been waiting for Metroid Prime 4. Well, here's Metroid Prime running on the Switch, but here's it running on the Switch too, and it's just gonna look better and it's gonna run better. That is my guess. It will probably be the transition game that they, I would assume, put on both, and then it just is better on the Switch too. That's my guess. And so really the final thing in this was Mario Kart. It definitely looking like a new Mario Kart. No question. I do not think this is just Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Ultra Infinity Edition. I think this is a new Mario Kart. There's a lot of racers in this. Like, there's more than. And wait, what in the? Oh my! Look at Donkey Kong's face here. That is definitely a different looking Donkey Kong. I mean, it's Donkey Kong, but it is a different design. for sure. Mario's kind of looking. Well, he kind of looks like the Odyssey Mario, but there's a lot of racers in that. And then obviously the experience thing. My personal guess on a release date, if the like big reveal is in April, and then let me see if I can see those dates there. This is until the end of April. I feel like there's got to be other ones of these for other countries too. I'll have to look and find. My guess is, I mean, I think May or June actually. It's not that they couldn't wait more. It just seems like they would want their bigger showcase to be closer to when it is. That's why there's a pretty big gap between now and then. But I guess it all depends on like when do they think they have their shipments ready. I saw a post that said that they're looking to have like, I don't know, more shipments ready than the Switch had, than even the PlayStation 5 had ready to go within the first year. So we'll see, but I could go on, dude. I know it doesn't seem like there's much here, but it's just something that we've all been waiting for a long time, and I'm pumped. I'm excited. You know, let me know what games you want to see. Do you think my theory of the Metroid Prime 4 being kind of the transition game where it is on both systems, it just runs better, looks way better on the Switch 2? Do you think that's kind of their way to show off the graphical fidelity, the frame rates of the new system? And then what else? Is there anything else at launch? I would assume Mario Kart 9 would be a great launch game. That thing sells every time they have a new one, even when they re-release games. Seems like a great match. Will we get a different color? Will we get a special edition that's based on a game at launch too? And then do you think this one is going to have an OLED screen like the Switch OLED, or do you think they're splitting it up and we'll get a Switch OLED down the line? Or do you even think that they're gonna have two different models to start? My guess is it's probably down the line. I kind of wish there would be an OLED on this, but I have this feeling that to cut the price a little bit, they might not have that on there, which would kind of stink and be a little bit of a step back. But what matters more to me is how the games look, how do they run. They're gonna make good games. That's what sells their systems. And then what kind of third party support do we have? Do we have the most third party, the most robust third party support that they've had in a long time? My guess is they will, and the reason is because if this thing is, let's say that it's like PS4 Pro, like power wise, except you can take it on the go. Well, that's kind of all you need for modern games at this point, because they are kind of essentially that or more. That just a little more of that. Modern games really don't push that much farther past that. They kind of just get a little bit better looking, and maybe the frame rate locks in a little bit more. But of course, they're very good at optimizing their own games. But it would be nice to see third party support because I don't know. being able to have a lot like those two things on the same thing instead of also needing, I don't know, a PC or Steam Deck and a PS5 or Xbox as well. It'd be kind of cool to have a lot of them on the same thing, but we'll see. First and foremost, it's a Nintendo machine. You're buying it for their products. Um, so, but it would be nicer for people who, maybe they can't have all the different systems and PC, be able to play it all in the same place. I'm sure I'll be talking about it a lot more. Thanks for watching, and I'm glad it's finally here. I'm glad we finally got an official one. Been waiting and waiting and waiting. It seems like years at this point, where every year for the last 3 years, I think, we've been hearing that, oh, they're gonna reveal it this year. Well, my my guess is they didn't need to. That's one thing, because the Switch is still doing fine. But also, you got to think we went through a global pandemic, and uh, sometimes it was harder to find parts for newer consoles, and I think shoring up everything so that when you do launch, you have more than enough Switches or Switch 2s that everybody can get one that wants one. I think that's a good strategy, especially when the Switch was selling fine on its own. But as far as if we'll have any other Nintendo Directs between now and this one, I think we might. I think we might have one that maybe just focuses on announcing some other, finishing up things for Switch before they start to begin to announce stuff for that. I do think that maybe some third parties will, if they announce anything between now and then, you might see a Switch 2 logo down at the bottom. And I think that kind of stuff's fine. Obviously some third parties will, I'm sure, be at this Nintendo Direct that's coming up. And yeah, I'm pumped. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I feel like though the if we go back a couple generations, that you think about what kind of led to this, and the Wii being so popular and mainstream and kind of changing a lot of people's perceptions of video games. But they kind of kept it going a little too long, to the point where when they revealed the Wii U, there were people that were like, "Hey, is this a peripheral for the Wii?" And it it a lot of people it thought like, "Oh, I don't know about this thing." There were good games on it, but not many people bought it compared to something like the Wii. And it's cool to see, this kind of the Switch itself being so successful that Nintendo decided, we are just going to follow it up with basically the same thing but better. Which Nintendo hasn't done that in a while. They had before. Usually it's just the controllers that change. But if you think about going from essentially the NES to the Super NES, that's what that was. So, cool to see it successful. All that matters really to me is that more people got to play and try the games that they make, because the games that they make are kind of what made me fall in love with gaming when I was younger. And made it so that I'm still playing them to this day. I'm still talking about them to this day. Um, I attribute their games and what they made with me falling in love with games that they don't even make, that other developers make. And I think the same about, like, anybody growing up now, like, if it helped them find gaming and fall in love with it too, then that's great. Um, life is difficult, and if there's something out there that can make you enjoy it a little bit more, that's wonderful. That's great. Um, and so I'm just excited that more people are going to be gaming, trying out video games. This is going to be some kids' first system. Um, Heck, this might be some adults' first system. Um, it's like to me, whatever can get you into it, that's great. If it's the Switch, that's great. If it's the PlayStation, that's great. If it's a PC, that's great. If it's an Xbox, that's great. And if it's your phone, that's great. Um, I just hope that maybe makes more people discover gaming and find a hobby that they can enjoy. Uh, because again, like I was just saying, life is difficult. If you can find something to escape from all the problems that are going on and that allow you to enjoy something, give you a little bit of happiness, it's a good thing. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. See you later.